Every day, millions of dollars are stolen through cybercrime, millions of lives disrupted. But how much do we really know about the criminals behind these attacks? What if we could take you inside the minds of those who plan and execute these high-stakes digital heists? These are not your average criminals. They operate in the shadows, using sophisticated strategies that challenge even the most advanced security systems. In this video, we unveil the most sophisticated strategies used by cybercriminals. We will break down the methods, tools, and tactics they use to breach high-security systems, infiltrate networks, and execute some of the most daring cyber attacks in history. You'll see how advanced techniques such as phishing, malware, and ransomware are employed to trick, deceive, and exploit vulnerabilities, turning everyday systems into weapons. From the simplest phishing scams to large-scale ransomware attacks, we'll explore the high-stakes world of cybercrime and reveal how some of the most notorious hackers and cybercriminal groups operate in the shadows. Let's begin by looking at the anatomy of a cyber attack. Cybercriminals don't just dive in and hope for the best. The first step in any attack is reconnaissance, gathering critical information about the target. This could be a company, an individual, or an entire network. During this phase, attackers will scope out weak points, looking for exposed databases, vulnerable email accounts, or unprotected systems. They'll study their target carefully, gathering open-source intelligence, OSINT, from public data sources such as social media, job postings, or even publicly available documents. This information gives attackers valuable insight into potential vulnerabilities they can exploit. Whether it's the name of an employee who can be tricked into giving access, or a company's outdated software that can be breached, reconnaissance provides the roadmap for the attack. Once the reconnaissance is complete, cybercriminals shift to exploitation. This is where they search for weaknesses in the system, whether it's an outdated piece of software, an unpatched vulnerability, or a flaw in security protocols. Hackers will scan for these vulnerabilities, often using automated tools to identify holes in the system. Once they find a weakness, they prepare to strike, exploiting the flaw to gain access to the network. The goal is to gain a foothold within the system, whether that's accessing an individual's account, infiltrating a business network, or planting malicious code for future use. Execution of the attack. Now comes the most critical part, the execution of the attack. This is where the cybercriminal takes full control. Whether it's launching a phishing scam, deploying malware, or initiating a ransomware attack, the attack is designed for maximum impact. Phishing remains one of the most common methods. Criminals send emails that appear to come from trusted sources, tricking victims into clicking malicious links or downloading harmful attachments. From there, the attacker gains access to sensitive information, often with devastating consequences. In other cases, malware is deployed to infect the system, allowing hackers to remotely control it or steal data. With ransomware, the system is locked, and a ransom is demanded to restore access, causing chaos for individuals and organizations alike. Now let's get on to examining high-stakes cybercrime strategies. 1. Phishing and social engineering. One of the most common strategies in high-stakes cybercrime is phishing. While phishing may sound simple, today's cybercriminals have refined it into a highly sophisticated art. It's no longer just about fake emails, offering free prizes, or pretending to be from your bank. The new generation of cybercriminals uses social engineering techniques to manipulate their victims. These attackers know how to craft convincing stories to exploit human psychology, whether it's pretending to be a colleague, a trusted vendor, or even a senior executive. The goal? To trick the victim into revealing sensitive information, clicking on malicious links, or downloading harmful attachments. Case study example. In 2016, attackers orchestrated one of the largest phishing scams in history, targeting Google and Facebook. Using sophisticated email schemes, they tricked employees into wiring over $100 million. The scam relied on detailed social engineering tactics to impersonate a trusted vendor, demonstrating just how well-placed these scams can be. This case highlights just how far cybercriminals are willing to go, investing significant time and effort into crafting messages that convince employees to bypass normal security protocols. In the end, the attackers made off with millions, all through the power of social engineering. Number 2, ransomware attacks. Ransomware remains one of the most profitable forms of cybercrime. The premise is simple. Attackers gain access to critical systems, lock them, and demand a ransom in exchange for restoring access. But the consequences can be devastating for businesses, individuals, and governments alike. Once a ransomware attack occurs, it's often too late for quick fixes. The system is locked, and business operations grind to a halt. In the case of hospitals, government agencies, or financial institutions, the impact can be catastrophic, crippling essential services and threatening lives. Case study example. Take the 2017 WannaCry ransomware attack. This attack exploited a vulnerability in Microsoft Windows, spreading rapidly and infecting over 230,000 computers across 150 countries. The impact was severe. Hospitals, businesses, and even government agencies were paralyzed, and millions were demanded in ransom payments. WannaCry's widespread damage prompted a global outcry, revealing just how vulnerable even large, secure institutions were to this kind of cybercrime. Despite efforts to recover data, many victims ended up paying the ransom, an indication of how devastating these attacks can be. Number 3, advanced persistent threats. While some cybercriminals strike quickly and for short-term gain, others take a slower, more insidious approach, advanced persistent threats, or APTs. These cybercriminals infiltrate systems over long periods, often without detection, to gather sensitive data and cause significant damage. APTs are typically carried out by highly skilled hackers who use stealthy methods to stay undetected, often working for months or even years inside a network. The goal is not just to execute a single attack, but to maintain access, steal valuable data, and cause long-term disruption. Case study example. One infamous example of an APT is the Target data breach in 2013, which exposed the personal information of over 40 million customers. Attackers gained access through a third-party vendor, quietly moving through Target's network, eventually stealing vast amounts of credit card data. The breach wasn't discovered until months later, and the fallout was significant, damaging Target's reputation and costing them millions in settlements. Another high-profile APT was the 2020 SolarWinds attack, where hackers compromised a trusted software provider's systems, allowing them to infiltrate a wide range of organizations, including U.S. government agencies. The scale of this attack was massive, with hackers gaining access to sensitive information and remaining undetected for months. Next, let's talk about the tools of the trade, the technical tools and methods cybercriminals use in these high-stakes strategies. Number 1, malware and exploits. Malware is the primary weapon of many cybercriminals. From viruses to Trojans, these malicious tools can spread quickly and silently through systems, infiltrating devices and networks to cause damage or steal data. Malware isn't always easy to detect. Some strains, like rootkits, burrow deep into systems, hiding their presence. Others, like Trojans, trick victims into downloading seemingly harmless software, only to unleash damage once inside the system. Once malware has infiltrated, it can do anything from stealing sensitive data, like login credentials and financial information, to damaging or even completely shutting down systems. The goal? To gain unauthorized control or harvest valuable data for exploitation. 2. Botnets and DDoS attacks. Some attacks rely on botnets, networks of compromised devices controlled remotely by cybercriminals. These devices, which can be anything from smartphones to home routers, are infected with malware, turning them into zombies that carry out attacks without the owner's knowledge. Botnets are often used to carry out distributed denial of service DDoS attacks, flooding a target's servers with overwhelming traffic, causing them to crash. These attacks can paralyze entire websites, businesses, or even governments. The scale of a DDoS attack can be immense. Think of thousands or even millions of devices, all attacking one target at once. The sheer volume can bring down high-profile websites, disrupt services, and create chaos. Number 3, cryptojacking and dark web markets. Cybercriminals are also exploiting the rise of cryptocurrency to fuel their activities. One popular tactic is cryptojacking, where attackers hijack a victim's computing power to mine cryptocurrency without their consent. Cryptojacking allows cybercriminals to make money while using someone else's resources, often without the victim even noticing. This is particularly damaging to businesses, as it can cause system slowdowns, increased energy consumption, and damage to hardware. In addition to cryptojacking, the dark web plays a huge role in high-stakes cybercrime. It's a hidden part of the internet where criminals can anonymously buy and sell illicit goods, including stolen data, drugs, and weapons. On the dark web, everything has a price: stolen data, malicious software, and even skilled hackers for hire. It's a marketplace where cybercrime thrives, and it's nearly impossible to trace the buyers or sellers. Next off, let me walk you through real-life cybercrime cases that shows notable cybercriminal strategies in action through case studies. Case Study 1. The $1 billion cyber heist. One of the most infamous high-stakes cybercrimes involved a billion-dollar heist that took place over several years, targeting financial institutions. The criminals behind this operation weren't just breaking into individual accounts. They were planning a global-scale theft that would shake the banking world. This wasn't a simple hack. The cybercriminal group behind the heist used a sophisticated malware campaign, known as Carbanak, to infiltrate the networks of over 100 banks. The malware, cleverly disguised as routine software updates, gave the hackers remote access to the bank's internal systems. Once inside, the criminals gained control of the bank's cash transfer systems and ATMs. They siphoned off huge sums of money, often disguising their actions as regular transactions or over-the-counter withdrawals. Over the course of the heist, they managed to steal more than $1 billion, making it one of the largest cyber heists in history. The Carbanak hackers were eventually apprehended, but not before they exposed the vulnerabilities within financial systems that allowed such a massive operation to take place undetected for years. Case Study 2. The 2017 Equifax data breach. In 2017, one of the most devastating data breaches in history occurred when hackers exploited a vulnerability in Equifax's system, exposing the personal data of over 147 million Americans. The breach wasn't just about stolen credit card numbers. It included sensitive personal information, such as social security numbers, birth dates, and addresses. The attackers exploited a known software vulnerability in Equifax's web application framework, which had been left unpatched for months. Once inside, the hackers were able to access and steal massive amounts of personal information, which could be used for identity theft or other malicious purposes. Despite the breach's magnitude, it wasn't discovered until months later. The fallout was significant. Equifax faced multiple lawsuits, public outrage, and regulatory scrutiny. The breach highlighted the critical need for companies to ensure timely software updates and proper cybersecurity protocols to protect consumer data. Case Study 3. Hacktivism and Anonymous. Not all cybercriminals are motivated by financial gain. Some, like the hacktivist group Anonymous, use their skills to push political agendas and support causes they believe in. While their methods are controversial, their actions highlight the intersection of cybercrime and activism. Anonymous is a decentralized collective of hackers who have launched numerous attacks against governments, corporations, and organizations they deem corrupt or oppressive. Their targets have included everything from global banks to political figures and social issues. In their view, cybercrime is a tool for social change. One of their most high-profile operations was the 2011 attacks on the Tunisian government. In the wake of political unrest, Anonymous targeted the government's websites, defacing them with messages of support for revolutionaries. They later expanded their targets, attacking institutions they viewed as unethical or tyrannical. While some see Anonymous as digital heroes, others view them as digital anarchists. Regardless of how they're perceived, their actions have raised important questions about the ethics of hacktivism and the blurred lines between activism and cybercrime. Now, let us talk about how cybercriminals evade detection, the methods cybercriminals use to cover their tracks and stay undetected. Number 1. Hiding in plain sight. Cybercriminals are masters of hiding in plain sight. They often operate under the radar, using legitimate tools for malicious purposes. By blending into normal online activity, they avoid detection and continue their criminal operations unnoticed. By using VPNs, virtual private networks, cybercriminals can mask their location and hide their real IP addresses. This creates a layer of security, allowing them to operate from anywhere in the world while appearing to be somewhere else entirely. Number 2, using the dark web. The dark web remains a key hub for cybercriminals. This hidden part of the internet is where they can anonymously buy and sell illegal tools, stolen data, and even hire hackers to carry out attacks. On the dark web, transactions are not tracked and identities remain hidden, making it the perfect environment for illegal activities. Cybercriminals can communicate and trade without fear of being caught by law enforcement. Number 3, money laundering and cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency has become the go-to tool for cybercriminals to launder stolen money, providing them with a high degree of anonymity. Unlike traditional currencies, cryptocurrency transactions are difficult to trace and allow criminals to move large sums of money quickly and secretly. Cybercriminals can use cryptocurrency to convert stolen funds into digital currency and then use mixing services to hide the origin of the funds. Once the money is laundered, they can exchange it or spend it without raising suspicion. Cybercriminals are continuously evolving their strategies. Understanding how they operate and the tools they use helps us better defend ourselves in an increasingly digital world. Knowledge is power, and the more we know, the better equipped we are to stay one step ahead. If you found this video insightful, like, share, and subscribe for more. Stay informed, stay protected, and keep your digital life secure from high-stakes cybercrime.